Right, so let's get started. So my name is Raj Patil. Full name is Lingaraj Patil, go by Raj. I am the executive chair of the Purple Book community, and I am also the VP of marketing at ArmorCode. I'll tell you how those roles, two roles came to be a little later. But I just wanted to just go around and see what kind of and experiences that you have had so far. I know this is day one. You probably had, who knows, maybe 3-4 engagements already, right? And you probably had a lot of other events to choose from. I'm sure there were 4 things parallelly stacked on your calendar. You had to choose, should I go here, should I go there, right? I'm like, RSA is a very busy time. It's a very busy time, right? So I truly appreciate you taking time out to spend with us today. And we are going to have a great set of discussions that I'm really looking forward to about the hottest topics in the industry. A panoramic view of what's happening in the security industry. And that's what I hope you'll get to see here. We have a great lineup of speakers that are going to be on this guest talking about AI in AppSec. Who's excited about AI in AppSec? How many of you know about the Purple Book community before this event? Some of you do. Yeah, so Purple Book community started out as a small community of 30 leaders, and over a period of time, it's grown to 450 leaders. I'll tell you a backstory about it a little later. We are a group of 450 plus cyber security leaders, application security leaders, product security leaders, CISOs, coming together to share the best practices, challenges, and case studies. So that's what we have. Take this opportunity as you go along to meet other leaders who have been in your journey, who are going through the journey that you are going through. And Purple Book community is about bringing leaders together to share each other's stories. So that's what this panel is going to do. I'd like to help me welcome Dheeraj Khanna, who is VP, SRE, DevOps, and Cloud Product Security at NetApp. And he'll welcome the rest of the panel. Dheeraj.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to RSA. See a lot of familiar faces, friends. We meet once a year or sometimes more at these beautiful conferences. And today we have like a very good topic, very esteemed panel. I am super excited to be moderating that. And we are going to talk about AppSec and AI-driven security. Now, by way of introductions, I am the Vice President of Product Security. I run multiple hats. I run DevOps, Product Security, and I also partner with one of our peer company teams called as Governance. So we are very excited to be talking, listening, learning from all of you, and sharing our thoughts on what we are doing in the world of AI, what is AI doing in the world of security for us, and also sharing thoughts from the rest of the leaders. The way we'll run this meeting is we'll have a few structured questions, and then we will open the forum for everyone to ask us questions. If you want answers, you come to me. If you want the right answers, you go to the panel. So that's how it works here. So with that, I would like to invite our panelist, Gaurav, who comes from SAP. Welcome, Gaurav, and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah. So my name is Gaurav Saxena. I'm the head of cloud security at S&P Global. I've been working with cybersecurity for over 15 years now, and with S&P Global, I've been handling multiple teams, including cloud, including cloud security, cloud infrastructure security, application, and other various teams, AI security, governance, all that stuff that is coming up, and we'll talk more about it as we progress.
Excellent. Welcome. The next one we have is Oz, comes from Fortinet, very known security company. Oz, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Oz. I am, as said, I'm from Fortinet team, leading the security engineering team at Fortinet. We have a lot of projects in infrastructure security, application security, and recently, as we all focusing on AI security. So, yeah, I'm here to exchange ideas and learn from you guys, actually. Not talk too much, just learn from you. That's my goal here. Thank you.
All right, welcome. Next we have Pierre, the CISO. Pierre, please come on in and explain to us what exciting things you are doing.
Yeah, hi everybody. Pierre Moalim, I'm CISO at Delinea. Delinea is a leader in the privilege, identity, and access management. And part of my responsibility is AppSec and GRC and SecOps, typical CISO role, and AI interfaces and interacts in a lot of those spaces. So yeah, interested or looking forward to the conversation and to your questions.
Excellent. And best for last, Mr. Mark Lambert, Chief Product Officer at ArmorCode. Welcome, Mark. Please introduce yourself.
So my name is Mark Lambert. I'm the Chief Product Officer at ArmorCode. I've been in the AppSec space for about 20 years now. So traditionally started off on static analysis side. And this panel is really close to my heart because I've been involved in AI on and off over the last 7 or so years. Both that first wave that we had back in kind of 2018 period, but of course the LLM and generative AI wave that we're in now. So really looking forward to this panel.
All right. And I think this is one of the beautiful things is we partner with these young startup companies, ArmorCode being one of them. There's SemGreps and a lot of good names here. I think the biggest advantage is, A, they run fast, they are product evangelists, they help you give feedback, and they actually ideate that feedback in their product very quickly. So I think the world of security is evolving in the right direction. And the best part is Mark has a really good accent. So if nothing else is working, you listen to his accent and come for my good looks. That's how this will go.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get started. So I think what we are doing is talking about AI-driven security. So today, this is a really good field where I think the lines blur between genius and catastrophic events. What we do today is extremely nimble, extremely agile, extremely young as a technology. And all of us as security practitioners have a role to play. What we do in this AI-driven security is we will focus on areas how to test, iterate, implement these security solutions, and at the same time have governance. And while we are doing that, making sure that humans are still involved, they are not just judgment robots. So we will talk exciting things about AI-driven security. So let's start with the starting point. So I'll go with Mark, or I'll go the other way around. I think we should move this way. What do you think in the AI-driven security? What is shaping the world? What are you so excited about AI-driven security today?
Yeah, good question. And as I mentioned before, I was fortunate enough to be part of the, if you like, the prior AI wave. And the thing that really excites me about where we are today is the potential. So here at RSA, we're launching our Agentic AI, and there's going to be a whole bunch of conversations in the industry around how Agentic AI and LLMs are really changing the way we approach things. The thing that I've seen is that you don't have the traditional approach to software delivery. So talking from a vendor perspective, I'm not just writing procedurally, this is how the application is going to respond. The machine learning and the LLM is actually responding dynamically to the questions that I have and the data that I presented. So the opportunities for completely new lines, the opportunities for a massive disruptive improvement in how teams operate is significant. And I haven't been genuinely this excited about an innovative technology for a long time.
Wow, excellent answer. Let's hear your thoughts, Pierre.
Yeah, I mean, specifically in the AppSec space, since this is AppSec and AI, or AI and AppSec, I think the potential for improving and addressing some of the pain points that exist today when it comes to certain activities like threat modeling or vulnerability management, AI has the capability or the potential to try to address some of those pain points so that teams can focus more on addressing issues and not, tuning tools or running tools or building processes. There's a lot of potential in how AI can transform AppSec, at a minimum in terms of dealing with those repeatable processes. And the more you can automate, the more you can increase your return on investment when it comes to your AppSec spend.
Excellent. Oz, let's hear from you.
In this kind of nowadays, actually, I'm more interested in, more excited about the communication between agents and the opportunity of LLM communicating to outer world through agent-to-agent protocol, or like MCP protocol, which recently announced like in the last year. So this allows actually kind of a new opportunity for us, because we already have some tools and processes that we are relying on right now. With the help of, for example, MCP, we can now ask AI to communicate with this outer world, that all the tools that we are already using. Or now we can, with the agent-to-agent protocol, we have that language communication protocol between two different agents to collaborate, sometimes solve conflicts. That's kind of very interesting and exciting topic for me right now, and I'm kind of focused on that area a little bit more, let's say.
Excellent. I think one thought I have is, like, if you think about this, the world of security for almost like 10 decades, or at least 70 years from now, has been a singular concept, which is it's a cat and mouse game. Your job is to make sure that the hackers, the attackers are staying 2 steps behind of you. Mm-hmm. So in the end, that game has been played for the last 60, 70 years. Tools have changed, technology has become better, but I think the game remains the same, more or less. And I think in this, the idea is, if you're an ethical hacker, if you're a security practitioner, your job is to stay 2 steps ahead of that game, so that you are more aware, more intelligent, more caught up on AI-driven tools. And I think that's I think the name of the game for us, is that we have to just make sure that we are embracing modern stack technology tools faster than the hackers and the attackers. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Gaurav, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think as we all know that AI will be part of everybody's life, starting from the morning till the end, till the time you sleep, or maybe after that as well. But I mean, if we talk about real life example, how AI can help is like being proactive, right? So let's say, I'll give you a real time example. Let's say if my identity is about to, some attacker is attacking my identity, right? Before getting my identity fully compromised, how AI can help secure my identity by blocking the threat attacker, and then adding like a freeze to my identity to make sure when an individual is coming back, they can verify themselves, and then everything has to be normal. So that's the kind of possibility that I'm thinking AI can come in our life. And in terms of application security or cloud security, whatever it is, the important factor is how we can predict or being proactive in terms of remediating issues across our environment.
Great. So let's switch gears. Like, let's talk a little bit more technical things. Oz, I'll start with you this time. Sure. What do you think in our security tooling space? How do you use AI tools to resolve issues like vulnerability management, SAST, DAST, SCA? So how do you find AI adopting to these tool chains, and how do you implement those changes in your organization?
Okay, actually, when we think about solving the problems and having our tools, current tools, how can they collaborate with AI tools? I think one of the biggest strategy for us right now, like this is the thing that we have been trying to do to become early in the like a software development life cycle, right? We were always trying to push left, shift everything to the left. And with the AI code generation, I think we also have the same mindset again. How can we make sure the AI generated code is secure in the very early stages of this secure development life cycle? And again, for that purpose, I think I'm seeing that we are going to be adding more security prompts into the secure development life cycle. But this should not be left to the developer's own discretion. It should be a kind of a policy. It should be a program that we create to make sure AI is generating secure code. How can we do this is adding security-related fundamental prompts into our development lifecycle. There's a lot of tools, like current tools, like AI-based software generation tools, IDEs. They allow us as a security professionals to add our security prompts into the code generation process. We can have our security principles specific to framework and language that we might be using, and add them into the. Maybe we can keep that prompts in our code repository, and now whenever a new team member joins the team, he just first checks out this prompt and adds that rule set into the prompt into the code generation IDE or the AI that they are using. So the generated code is going to be automatically secure, at least more secure than the default settings.
So you've started doing that, implementing these solutions.
I'm talking on my behalf, let's say. I cannot talk about the company for now, but this is the vision. This is the vision I'm seeing that we need to go through.
Very nice. Sure, let's hear your thoughts. How are you innovating in this area?
I mean, really, you need a solid foundation in order to innovate, in order to take advantage of the different tools and the different kind of frameworks and kind of models have in place. So we're focusing on making sure that the right data is used to, whether we're talking vulnerability management, whether we're talking other types of AppSec initiatives, we want to make sure that the data that is used to kind of drive and feed those models and help us augment our capabilities is sound, so that we can trust the output. So you still need to trust but verify. So we're focusing on that aspect. We want to make sure that the data is well vetted. We're testing that process, but ultimately, as we ensure that we have a solid foundation, as we ensure that we have guardrails in place, the hope is to make sure, or to have those new capabilities kind of augment the existing kind of the staff and the tool set, et cetera.
Right. Mark, how do you innovate and how do you use these tools internally at ArmorCode?
Yeah, so of course, I'm in a very different position sometimes when you think about this, because we're generating the tools that can help you all. The way that I look at what we can leverage AI for, it's a data problem, right? How can I take this massive volume of disconnected data, figure out how it's all connected together, and optimize processes? So I think, Oz, you're spot on. Is if you can actually put some controls very early on in the process, you can get cleaner code going in the first place. But AI is generating massive volumes of code. Our developer productivity has gone through the roof, which means the volume of data that we're getting from the point of view of the security controls is increasing as well. Also, they're all disconnected and siloed. And of course, this is the problem that we're focused on. So not just leveraging the latest and greatest MCP and Agentic AI, but also leveraging machine learning, supervised training models to try and figure out how these things connect together. So I can go from this massive volume of data, identify the underlying issues, in essence, removing duplicates or non-uniques, and then further going down and understanding where my business risks are. Doing that all in a way that is a human-based interface rather than just dashboards and reports is the area where I think there's a massive area of innovation that we can deliver to the industry today.
Right. I mean, I think this, especially I think when it comes to enterprise companies and enterprise world, most of the time, again, this is not new, it's age old. Most of the time, a lot of relationships are very symbiotic in nature. So while you're consuming a product from a security tool, you're also developing one for yourself. So there's a back and forth that you are building your own products for your own needs, and to have a faster time to market, you will consume off-the-shelf products, security products. And you have to actually keep a happy balance. Now, in the same line, I'll segue that question into another interesting area where I'll start with the Gaurav, is like, how do you use governance and how do you make sure that everything that you're using or building is meeting our governance standard? I have my very good friend Jyoti here. She works very closely with us. And so we, at NetApp, I'll just share that with you, is that we have a really good governance team. And so a product goes in, it goes through like validations. and that's and in a very unbiased manner. So how do you build that? I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think this is like the foundation, as Pierre already mentioned, that we need to, like, we in our enterprise, we have created like an AI risk and governance framework. That framework has like different towers. Let's say the security architecture review is one of the areas. Then we have the observability and monitoring. Then we have the secure AI development, which will secure the entire code. And then we have the identity and access management. So we have like 5 towers of securing the entire AI solution. And based on that solution, right, we need to make sure that every solution that we are bringing in, or every application that we are building, has to go through the same cycle of reviews to make sure that whatever we are trying to deploy, it's all secure. Because if you don't build the foundation, then your entire structure will not be that strong, right? So strong foundation is very important, and then that includes like the vendor risk as well, right? A lot of time we only talk about how exactly we are securing our applications, right? But what about the vendors that are producing or giving us the solution, right? How are we making sure that the vendor itself is also following the standard best practices? Like we have a vendor risk management team, right, which evaluates the vendor based on the certain criteria to make sure that whatever solution we are consuming, our data with the vendor is secure.
Excellent. But so just to deep dive a little bit on that.
Yeah.
So there's a separate organization which is doing the governance.
Yes.
Than the security organization.
Correct. No, it's within the security. It's like within the information security realm. But built based on the framework and the towers, we involve like multiple other teams to make sure that every solution goes through that life cycle.
Makes sense. Oz, how do you do that in Fortinet?
Yeah, maybe not. I'm not gonna specifically talk about Fortinet because we have I think a lot of very mature companies. We have similar risk and compliance governance processes. But I think one of the things I would like to highlight is generally when we, as security professionals, when we see a AI-like product or AI-like technology, it can be intimidating for us because we cannot control what's going on. We cannot always understand the extent of the capabilities, which is scary in some extent, intimidating for us. And then automatic reaction is restrict everything, don't allow anybody to use AI or something. Then it becomes a shadow AI problem for us, for our companies. Developers or users try to circumvent that restrictions and use AI in different ways. And then that can cause some other problems, like even some licensing issues, like using an AI product, personal account, in company purposes, it can be a license violation as well. So there can be security violations, there can be licensing violations, everything. So I think as security teams, our goal needs to be a little bit more being a proactive and just try to first understand the technology a little bit better, and then also understand the risks associated with that. And of course, in order to understand the risks, you need to have a good risk and compliance, risk governance process. And I believe that we already have, every company has a risk and compliance and governance process already built. And the fundamental topics are still applicable to AI in some extent, with some additional risks that needs to be taken care of. So we can use our own current risk and compliance program and governance program, and also add the AI additional risks, AI concerns into the equation by doing a good research and understanding the technology and understanding the risks associated with that.
Got it. Excellent.
Yeah, I think just to add to like what you said, right? A lot of people in the enterprise, they think that information security is like, okay, if we go to information security, they will say no and they'll stop us, right?
Yeah.
But think about it, like information security's job is not to make sure that we create a roadblock, because if we create a roadblock, that stops the innovation, right?
Exactly.
We need to make sure that we partner with whatever the business requirements are and to create like a solution that is both productive as well as secure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. So in addition to having a governance framework, which I totally agree, I mean, if you think about it, the same problems that exist with AI, especially agentic AI, like existed with the days of service accounts or machine accounts, where what data do those accounts have access to, and who has access to those accounts. The only difference now is that those agents, the AI agents, are much more powerful. So the ability to do damage is much greater. So you want to make sure that you have a proper framework in place to monitor access and manage access to those agents, and also to manage access to the data that the agent is using in order to function. So at the core of it, it's really privileged access management type with the same principles that the typical PAM tries to address are also applicable in this case.
Yeah, I agree. It really is. It's authentication, authorization. You're now doing it for a truly non-human user.
Yep.
The industries that I see that are most sensitive to this kind of conversation is obviously media and entertainment, because there's a lot of concerns over copyright infringement with ChatGPT and the like. Insurance, because of traditional challenges around issuance bias, and then financial services, a distant third. Most other organizations are really weighing the risk versus the reward, and really it is just another, where's the data going? What can you do with the data? And it's a very similar conversation to a SaaS kind of tool as well.
Yeah, no, I think great answers. I think the way we and I can be a little bit bold and talk about our company, Jyoti is here. I think the way we do this is that treat any Gen AI or an AI tool almost like a third-party vendor, right? It should go through the same governance, same regulation. Now, in this game, there are some new players here. There's like agents, and you have to see data poisoning, you have to see access, as you guys mentioned. So you have to play the game by the rules and the new tools that come with it. So I think it just comes down to is that to make sure that threat modeling is done. There is SBOMs, there's validation of SBOMs, there's like data poisoning areas, exfiltration areas are very well controlled and managed and reported. You're using private LLMs or closed APIs. So I think those are the areas where building a Gen AI tool makes it more interesting, and actually, honestly, it is also fun, because as you are developing these products, you're also learning new ways to how to protect your organizations for that. So I think for a security engineer, if I wear that hat, so it makes the job of a security engineer very interesting, that hey, every day I'm learning new things. Not only I'm protecting, but I'm also self-learning as a result of this growth area. So I think that's a positive thing. Yep. Now let's, in the same line, I want to ask you a question, is that there's always this dilemma that the world has, build versus buy. So what is your thought, like at what point and what tools in security that we should aspire to build, and at what point we should aspire to buy, and what's the merit and demerit of each of the solutions?
I think this is very important to understand like what exactly is the outcome you want to achieve, because based on the outcome, you need to decide like whether building a solution will be more important or just using a solution from a third party will be more useful. Because think about that. Let's say if you have a compliance regulation or a requirement, right? If you're a highly regulated business, right? You have a requirement that your data cannot leave your environment, right? That's one of the prerequisites. Then there is no way you can use a third-party tool. You have to make sure either you use a third-party tool that provides a self-hosted solution and then host it in your environment. And we have been gone through this situation. And or otherwise, you can just build your own environment. And really, it really depends on, like in my perspective, it should be a hybrid approach that we need to take, like based on the data classification, based on the application that is serving the customers, based on the criticality. You can decide whether you want to build it own or you want to just consume it externally.
In the world of S&P,
yeah,
I have a product request for you.
Sure.
Can you run a prompt where you say, hey, make the market look better?
I wish I would be the first person to use it. Yeah.
In the last few weeks, we really need that.
Yeah, that's
What's your thought on that? Let's switch gears. Let's go with Mark first.
Well, I mean, I think you touched upon it right. I think it's a hybrid. Okay, so of course you have a core business to run, and you may have some research teams that can spend some cycles building these things out, and that I definitely would say is a great way of you validating technologies concepts within an organization. The challenge is you very quickly run into a world where you have to start going deep. And you have implied costs of that, of soft costs of human resources, but then also, quite frankly, AI is expensive. And if you want to be able to operate that at scale, you need to be doing it across a much larger kind of segment of the community. So, I referenced Anya earlier. We were in early access in March. We ran beta in April. We're GA today. And one of the first early access organizations was Motley Fool. And they were beginning to do some of that research themselves, and very quickly realized that, yes, we can realize this potential, but then operationalizing that was going to take a lot more work than the initial investigation. And that's where, quite frankly, Paolo and he was asking questions around APIs, and I'm like, why are you asking this question? And he says, well, I'm developing an MCP application. I'm like, you should take a look at what we're about to release in EA. And he became part of the first part of the EA program. So yeah, nice. It's a great partnership, and it's a hybrid, and it's finding somebody that you can partner with.
Excellent.
I think I just wanted to add one more thing. Maybe that's an interesting point. As we all know, AI makes creating a product easier for us. With the AI-generated code, we can now faster and easily and fastly create something that we are looking for in some extent. That can be, as visionaries said, in the future there's going to be a lot of micro startups, right? They will, like a 1 person, 2 person, they will create a tool with the help of AI. Very similarly, we can actually within the companies we can now build some products in-house with the help of AI. But again, this comes to the Mark's point. It has some cost attached to that, and if you are willing to pay that cost and develop in-house with soft cost and maybe sometimes training costs, millions of dollars of training costs, you're more than welcome. But if you have any other product, like I think this hasn't changed for years, because if you want to have a SaaS solution, you're not fully developing in-house because it requires time, it requires cost, it requires human resource, developers' time. Similarly, we have the same concept. Yeah, I need some correlation engine to correlate my findings. I can develop in-house, training my model, yes, but I can also go to a third party and get that service done today, with all the features. So that hasn't changed a lot, I believe, in that regard.
How do you balance this between build versus buy?
I mean, we need to differentiate. Like, are we building an AI model? Which is, most companies are not doing that, because that is very expensive. It requires very specialized skills, a lot of resources, and you're going to still be behind all those juggernauts that are building their own AI models. But are we going to use AI models that are developed by other companies to build our own, like on top of that, and deliver AI-powered tools? And I think that's what the most common use case. So the question becomes, do we want to use those models, kind of integrate them and train them ourselves? Do we want to use models that are provided as a SaaS service to kind of build on top of that? It kind of goes back to the whole, like in the crypto world. Like, do you want to develop your own crypto libraries, or you want to just leverage one that's already been out there, that's already vetted? In the majority of cases, it's going to be the latter. And I think the same is going to be applicable here. There is a lot of great models out there, and it's just a matter of what is the one that's going to best fit our needs, and how do we want to manage that? Do we want to consume it as a SaaS service? Do we want to stand it up ourselves and train it and manage it? In majority of cases, I think it's going to be the latter.
I see. So let's deep dive one more level onto this, Pierre, if you don't mind. I think today, in the world of AI, think about it, security's perimeter has changed over time. So back in the day, it was you log in, come to my data center, then I'll authenticate you 100 ways. Today, there's no such parameter. There's zero trust. You can be in Starbucks, you can be here, you can be on your phone. There's shadow IDs, sanction IDs. There's 1,000 acronyms that the whole security industry has created from that. How do you, like in that case, And then that makes it even harder for building versus buying, because you have to really watch what is proprietary and what is not. So does that pose for you as a CISO pose an interesting problem? How to manage perimeter when you don't even know what the perimeter is?
Yeah, very much so. And it boils down to identity. So whether you're looking at it, whether you have a zero trust framework or regardless, at the end of the day, it's really an identity problem. What identity is being used by what agents or what humans to access what data? And as long as you have guardrails around identity and you have ways to detect anomalies, deviations, et cetera, I think that provides the coverage that is necessary. But at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. Like, it is not a data center where you just kind of lock the exterior door. You need to kind of manage it through and through. And that is, in my opinion, that is done, or is possible to do that through identity.
Excellent. I think, and then one of the other things is, like all of us leaders, we measure people on their reviews. We build 1,000 OKRs. So what are the KPIs or the OKRs for security industry, either as a tool or as an initiative? And how do you know that if I'm doing a Gen AI or an AI initiative, this is how I measure the ROI on that investment?
Yeah, so I think this is one of the foundations that we can, it'll be a part of the AI risk and governance framework, the ROI, the return on investment. So let's say if you are building a solution that will help you remediate certain vulnerabilities, like proactively, right? So you can measure how many vulnerabilities were resolved by an AI solution, and then how many were in total, right? This way you can identify how much have, whatever you have invested in the AI solution, how much are you saving money, time, resources, whatever it is, right? That's an important measure, criteria that you can measure a solution, right? That's what I think.
Got it. Oz, what are your thoughts on that? I'm careful not to ask specific questions on your company.
Yeah, I think
Keep it generic.
I think this. Yeah, with the help of AI, as Gaurav said, we can leverage and we can somehow hand off some of the tasks to AI, which has a good multiplier of human resource in that regard. So if you somehow outsource AI, some of the tasks to AI, and let it handle some repetitive tasks that normally takes a lot of time of our daily engineers, that can be associated with like a human hour perspective as well. So depending on the task, you can associate the return by human per hour kind of calculation. I think Gaurav already mentioned that, and I agree with that similar approach.
Yeah, I mean, in addition to automation and kind of help augment the team's capabilities, which they're all excellent points. One of the metrics that we still use to this day is like the ratio of AppSec engineers versus developers. And you want to be between, not to kind of dive into the numbers, but there is a sweet spot where you want to kind of maintain that ratio. I would expect that ratio to dramatically change as you empower the team to be able to kind of scale better. So the ratio to AppSec engineers might double or be cut in half. It's still a little bit early to tell, but those are the areas where we can better gauge the return on investment and how AI impacting the AppSec field.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are three things, right? Can I do more?
Yes.
Can I do it quicker? And can I do it better? If we monitor those aspects, so am I burning through my backlog? What does my MTTR look like? Am I actually preventing vulnerabilities in production? They're the outcomes that we want to measure. And I think it's really important to think about the outcomes, because a lot of time, and you're going to hear a lot of this week, people get over-indexed on, hey, it's AI. It's a nice, shiny, cool object. Forget that. What's the outcome? What can I achieve? And that, I think those three are the three key areas to focus on.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think the most important part is, as you said, like every shiny object is not gold. So you have to really measure what is your cost-benefit analysis of an initiative. And in some cases, that becomes the force multiplier for decision making most of the times. The million-dollar question. You guys ready? Buckle up. In your opinion,
You're going to give me $1 million, right, if I answer it?
no, the industry will give you $1 million. I wish I could do that. If it was up to me, I would have done that. So do you think that the AI, agentic AI, Gen AI, is there a direction where it will replace the job of a developer?
No, I think the answer is not a straight no or yes. I think it really depends on who is doing the heavy lifting. So think about it like a developer who's writing code for weeks and months, right? And that part is being done by AI now, right? Now the job for the developer becomes more proactive to make sure that he spends his time into something which is more towards the business driven decision and not exactly like writing code. If you are able to understand that kind of a career path, then I don't think anybody has to worry about like AI will replace humans and all that. It's not something that will be there, but it really depends on how you shift your focus to what exactly is the trend that the market is going through.
Thank you. 60 seconds, Oz.
I think we can all, if any of you played with the recent AI code gen algorithms and tools, you can see that they are doing a good job overall in terms of generating code. I'm not talking about generating secure code, but at least it's doing really good job. And what you have to do is just as a developer or as a non-developer to just express your ideas in a clear way. It's almost like a security architect maybe. Think that project on your mind first and express that, because I don't want to leave everything to AI. I just wanted to tell how to do it, how to properly do it. So that's what I think. Maybe like development tasks are going to be most probably handed over to the AI itself, but almost like an architect thought process is going to be there, and we will see much more people designing apps, as Gaurav said, as based on the business requirements, and express that clearly to AI.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's going to be transformative. It will change how the development process works, especially at kind of the more entry to mid-career. I think there's still going to be need for a specialized skill to develop. At the end of the day, the AI agent or whatever is as good as the data that is used to train it. Mm-hmm. So if there's nobody that is producing new data to continue to train the AI, you're going to get to a point where things are going to become stale and it's not going to meet your need. So it will, in my opinion, AI will help kind of address or tackle or automate kind of the low-hanging fruit. The more specialized skill set is still going to require, the capital, the human capital to help it continue to grow. So it'll be more of a symbiotic relationship, but it's not. I don't think it's going to get to a point where it's just going to replace development altogether or developers altogether.
Yeah, this is actually the third time I've been asked this question in a week. So it's going to supercharge.
You should have an agent answer that now.
I should do, shouldn't I? Just to ask Anya, and it'll just tell you the answer to it. That'll be an Easter egg. It'll be there by the end of the week. So it's going to supercharge existing developers. I mean, anybody that's used ChatGPT knows that it's really, really powerful. So it's going to supercharge existing developers, and it's going to lower the barrier to entry for civilian developers, or kind of a new wave. The bottom line is, existing developers that are not using AI are at a significant disadvantage.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's my opinion too, is that I think the world is changing. We need to embrace this brave new world, like Aldous Huxley says. And the sooner you embrace, the sooner you learn and adopt to the new technologies. One thing that's for sure that's going to happen is AI may not replace developers, but developers who do not embrace AI will certainly be replaced by the developers who do. So in my opinion, with that, I'll close the panel. Thank you everyone for listening in.